You are now witnessing the moment where Indya Mayberry of TCU became the fastest woman in all of college again this season. She was already the collegiate leader in the 60, and now she's got it in the 200. She is only a freshman. Not only is that not normal, but she's only gotten faster all season long. So the only way you win a national title this year in Division I, you've got to go through her. But before I get into all of that, allow me to make it clear why I make these videos. Because college track and field, at its highest level, continues to operate basically at the professional level, or for that matter, the Olympic level. But it's nearly impossible to follow the sport even if you wanted to. It's just that hard to piece it all together, which is why I decided to bring it to you every single week of the season. So here is what really happened this week in college track and field. And to clarify, I am focusing on the performances and the athletes who put them out, who are going to make a huge difference on the national championship run. Because if you really want to win a national title in D1, you now know who exactly you need to beat in order to pull it off. And I do have to start first on the ladies' side, because the Indya Mayberry situation now requires a whole lot more attention. Weeks ago, she put down a collegiate best time in the 60-meter dash, a time that has continued to hold up on the leaderboards, and it isn't like a bunch of fast women aren't out there chasing to get that lead. Indya Mayberry is a freshman, but she's a 5-star recruit on SCArecruiting.com coming out of her senior year of high school. She was actually top 10 in the entire nation regardless of all the events, but she was never supposed to be this fast, this quickly, because she went out there in the 200 and put down a time that is now the collegiate leader in that event. She's not just the collegiate leader, she's 0.3 of a second faster than anybody else in the nation at this time. And a whole bunch of meets have already gone down. There are only 2 athletes who come to mind immediately, who are still in a college uniform and show that they have the talent to beat her last season. It's Jaden Mays of Oregon on one end, and Jamethia Ford of South Carolina on the other. Beyond that, Jamethia Ford is the defending champion from last season, while she was a freshman. So she shocked the world back then, but Indya Mayberry is doing it right now. And allow me to put this in perspective. As a freshman, she is from the state of Texas, and she's showed up indoors and is running far away from everybody in the field at the moment. The last time we saw a freshman sprinter from the state of Texas who dominated anything like this, her name was Sha'Carri Richardson. Now granted, Sha'Carri Richardson made the 60-meter final at the NCAA indoor meet as a freshman, but she was also there at the championships in the 200. When she got outdoors, she dominated the SEC and then went on to win the 100, setting a collegiate record in that event at the NCAA Outdoor Championships. She was in the final for the 200 and also got a silver medal. People just don't talk about it because once you see a collegiate record, you kind of forget about it. I am not saying that Indya Mayberry is going to do exactly that. What I am definitely saying is she was never supposed to be this fast, this quickly. And if she can keep it up, she's probably going to walk away with hardware by the end of this season. And I'm not sure if that happens, how long we're going to get to see her in a college uniform going forward. Moving on to the women's 400, Isabella Whitaker of Arkansas, but formerly of UPenn, is technically now the collegiate leader in that event. It actually happened about a week ago, but I didn't necessarily notice it as such, because Jamethia Ford was the collegiate leader, but ran that time at altitude. So when the conversions hit the leaderboards, Isabella Whitaker is actually at the top. That said, she ran incredibly fast last year competing for UPenn. She also showed up to the NCAA Indoor and NCAA Outdoor Championships. The only thing that matters is this time she's coming back again and had the chance to win. And if she does it for the Razorbacks, that is exactly what they do. Because you should know by now how well they dominated the 400 last season, both indoors and outdoors. They finished 1-2-3 indoors and 1-2-3-4 outdoors. We are talking about one college in Division I, and they swept the podium, indoors and outdoors, in the same event. It's pretty clear that they have almost all of the top talent, specifically in the 400, which is why it's also not a surprise that at this moment in the season, Arkansas still has the fastest women's 4x4 in the nation. But I can't fail to point out that Naomi Krebs of Texas Tech stole the collegiate lead in the 60 hurdles And the reason why I say stole it is because Jaya Covington of Texas A&M had the collegiate lead and then ran a little bit faster to lower it. So she technically had it again. All that being said, it ain't hers anymore. And Naomi has continued to improve throughout her entire college career. Her first NCAA championship appearance was last year outdoors. But it's pretty clear she's going to be there indoors this season. And now, she is perhaps one of the favorites to win the whole thing. But if you're new here, I want to say thank you for even making it this far into the video. And I'm Coach Rob, the founder of SCArecruiting.com, where I rank the best track and field recruits across the entire nation. And if anything that I say actually connects with you, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe. But if I don't, just let me know in the comment section, because I try to read them all. Moving on to the men's side, we already knew that J.C. Stevenson was the fastest man in college, at least this year on the clock, because his 60-meter dash of 6.50 seconds is not just the fastest we've seen this year, but nobody last year, at least through this point in the season, had also run that fast. All that being said, J.C. Stevenson is a long jumper who won the national championship outdoors in that event. So it shouldn't be a shock anymore that when he finally went out to do his original event, he is not a collegiate leader in the long jump. USC tends to recruit the absolute best in the sprints, jumps, and the hurdles, which is why the national leaderboards make it clear that they're a program you're going to have to go through if you want any points in those events. And now, Johnny Blockberger of USC as well has decided to join J.C. Stevenson as a collegiate leader. But what Johnny Blockberger just did in the 200 is something different, because the two men who were at the top of the leaderboards prior to his performance were both Olympians from Paris who came back to college this year. And he didn't just drop the collegiate lead, he did it by more than a tenth of a second in that event. So yes, USC is for real this year. And Johnny Blockberger, or for that matter J.C. Stevenson, and you can even throw Johnny Brackett in there because he's a collegiate leader in the 60 hurdles. All of them are the reason why they are a threat for a national title. And as far as the relays go, I should probably fill you in that Florida does have the fastest men's 4x4 in the entire nation. Not that much of a shocker when you see what Genoa McIver just did as a collegiate leader in the 400-meter dash. So they're still going to be right there competing for a national title again. And at this point, I've lost count of how many they've actually got. I am aware that conference championship weekend is coming, and when it does, we're going to see some big performances both on the track and in the field. But as far as I'm concerned, most of the athletes who are going to show out at that level are the same exact ones who have already proven that they are legit by this point in the season. But remember, that is why we run the races, because the lanes on a track don't discriminate. They really don't care what uniform you're wearing, and they definitely don't care what division you represent. Because if you want to be the best, the only thing you have to do is go out there and beat the best. Just remember that the clock never lies. If you think you need help getting recruited, you are probably right. On SCArecruiting.com, you can get a ton of resources, like my free recruiting guide, detailed videos, online courses, and much more. And if nothing else, and you just really want to see more content like this, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe.